It was eerily quiet this morning at Georgia's indoor practice facility until Mykel Williams and Jalon Walker come around the corner. Dozens of NFL scouts and team representatives followed them in. They had a private workout this morning and they invited us to go and see it. So I got to go there. I've got clips that I'm going to overlay over this video. Exclusive clips from what Jalon Walker and Mykel Williams did. Former Georgia edge rushers, right? Both of them are edge rushers. Mykel Williams, kind of more of a defensive lineman, that big 6'5", 260-ish pound frame. Jalon Walker, a hybrid linebacker edge rusher, 6'2", 240, 245 pounds. They're very different players, both listed as edge rushers in this upcoming NFL draft. And neither of them had really worked out at Georgia's Pro Day a month ago, at the Combine a couple of months ago, until today. Jalon Walker was dealing with a thigh injury. That's why he didn't work out. I don't really know why Mykel Williams only ran the 40-yard dash up until this point. And now they have their private workout in front of about half the league. I could confirm about 16 NFL teams there. So there may have been more, but there weren't fewer than 16 NFL teams represented by coaches, scouts, team representatives, all that. Ryan Curley from Dawg Post. That's how many people I saw. I counted 16. I've got my list. Falcons, Eagles, Giants, Saints, Ravens, Dolphins, Cardinals, Texans, Jaguars, Chargers, Colts, Lions, Patriots, Browns, Broncos, Cowboys. Those were the teams that I could confirm with my own eyes being at the Georgia practice facility this morning to see Williams and Walker work out. So, both of these guys are projected to be, they're almost locks to be first-round picks at this point. You know, what makes you a lock? I don't know. You look at all the mock drafts, and Walker's stock is higher right now than Williams is. I think going into the process, it was, and going right before the offseason, Williams was the higher prospect. And heading into the season, Williams was the higher prospect. Potential number one pick is how Mykel Williams was being talked about at the beginning of the college football season and right before. And then Jalon Walker has a very good 2024, wrecks a couple of games, shows the versatility, and people are loving him in these interviews, and his stock has risen. And Mykel Williams, has dealt with injuries in his Georgia career, and that's hurt him a little bit. And he's, I guess, a little bit more raw of a prospect if you ask around of people in the know, that he's not maybe quite as polished as Walker. Now, they're not the exact same type of player. It's not like, I don't even know how I would put it. It's not like comparing two safeties that are the same or two corners that are the same. These are two edge rusher prospects that are very different because one is a linebacker and one's a defensive lineman. They're different, and Mykel Williams can kind of play inside and out. Obviously, Jalon Walker can play off the ball linebacker, and these teams, if they get either of them, they'll get a versatile prospect that can probably fit in more than one position for their football team. But what else did I see today? The Atlanta Falcons were represented very well. I think out of what I could tell, they had the most people there, including defensive coordinator Jeff Ulbrich, who seems to have a good working relationship with Mykel Williams and Jalon Walker. And Mykel Williams put on his Instagram story just yesterday, he was in Flowery Branch. He was at the Falcons practice facility. So the local team, Atlanta Falcons, they have the 15th overall pick in this draft, assuming they don't trade up or down. And there's plenty of mocks that have Mykel Williams available at pick 15. There are plenty of them that have him getting taken before that, in the top 10, in the top 12. Both of these guys can be picked, I believe, anywhere between, and it'd be lofty for him, but anywhere between pick 5 and pick 20, right? That's kind of their range. They're first half of the first round type of players. I have seen people, having Mykel Williams slide to the later portion of the first round, but the raw talent and the physical attributes is definitely there when you watch Williams. What did I see when I watched them work out today? I thought Jalon Walker was more explosive, right? We saw them do some of the same drills, and then they each kind of did their own. Jalon Walker doing some linebacker type of drills where he's in pass coverage, and then he goes up to go for an interception. Mykel Williams did some other, I don't even know how to describe the drills, running around cones, they're hitting the bags, they're doing the sled drills, all that. That's pretty much all we got to see. They took measurements, and then they came out and they did that, and it was over like that. It was over very quickly. Didn't get measurable stuff. No 3-cone drill, no shuttle drills, no 40-yard dash. We saw Mykel Williams do the 40-yard dash at Georgia's Pro Day a month ago. That's all he did. No, we didn't see him do bench press. So there was none of that. It was just positional type of drills to kind of see the twitch and the explosiveness, pretty much. Eye test wise, I've been to a few of these things now. I've been to Pro Day for since 21, 22, 23, 24. I've been to a handful of these Pro Days, and there are certain guys that really stood out. And the three that come to mind the most were just like, man, that guy is different. That guy is fast. That guy can get horizontal. That guy has super long arms. The three that come to mind are Trayvon Walker, Nolan Smith, and Ladd McConkey. All have been successful in the NFL. Ladd McConkey up there for one of the best rookie wide receiver seasons ever, right, in terms of numbers. Nolan Smith just won a Super Bowl. Trayvon Walker, first overall pick and double-digit sack year for the Jacksonville Jaguars. I don't know that I saw that when I watched these two potential top 10 picks. I think that in terms of the eyes and the pop, Jalen Walker popped a little bit more, right? And in these drills, he's probably going to a little bit when you're a little lighter, you're a little quicker and twitchier and faster. That's just what you saw. Mykel Williams, the long arms, you can't miss them, but you can't miss those things on the tape either. And I think at the end of the day, the tape is what's going to help both of these players' draft stock the most than a simple 20-minute workout, right? And the interviews are helping, especially with Jalen Walker. You read and you hear, like Todd McShay was talking about. He's now an NFL draft analyst for The Ringer, a very connected person in this draft world. He talks about, hey, Jalen Walker, people are excited about drafting the person Jalen Walker, not just the player, and you get that with these guys as well. So I don't think it was an amazing workout for Mykel Williams. Now, look, there's dozens of scouts and all those people who are standing there watching things I'm probably not watching for, seeing things that I'm likely not seeing, right? They're looking for very particular things that I'm not necessarily versed in. But when I'm talking about just from a workout standpoint, I didn't think it was a perfect workout from Mykel Williams. Slipped a few times. I thought he looked a little slower than I anticipated on some of the drills where you get around the corner, you hit the bag and get around the corner and take off. He just didn't have the short distance speed that I was expecting. I'm curious if the Dallas Cowboys scout that dapped him up afterwards, I wonder if he saw that. Did Jeff Ulbrich see that? And they're considering drafting Mykel at 15. With Jalen Walker, it wasn't perfect either, but I think that in terms of just the eye test and the woe to the common, am I a common football viewer? I'd like to think I'm a little bit higher than a common football viewer at this point with the amount I consume and how much I have to talk about it. But for me, who doesn't have legitimate, I guess, I didn't play. I played basketball. So when I look at Walker, I just saw more explosion. Now, he did mess up, right? And it was during that linebacker drill where he goes for the interception, he drops it. He drops the pass at him. And then afterwards, he stumbled and fell down. So it wasn't a perfect workout from either of those players. But look, these are two freaky people in terms of what they can do. You go and watch either Texas game, particularly the first one out in Austin, you see what Jalen Walker is capable of doing in terms of disrupting. Mykel Williams makes some plays out there. Watch Mykel Williams in run stop tape. He is a very good run defender, and the long arms and the pure strength, it gives him ability in that regard. I don't think that Mykel Williams has the upside of a pass rusher that Trayvon Walker did, and I think it's because Trayvon was just a freakier athlete, quicker, faster. He had the long arms too and the big build. But I could see how maybe Williams would fare just as well in run stop as Walker has, right? And it's proven that he was, maybe he wasn't worth the first pick, but definitely a high-end draft pick. And and I'm talking about Trayvon Walker in there, not Jalen Walker. Now with Jalen Walker, teams, they're going to decide, is he a linebacker, is he an edge rusher? Are we going to use him in one way or both? Neither of these guys had worked out really outside of Mykel Williams doing the 40 until this morning. But look, the draft's a week away, so I'm going to try to fit in some draft talk over the next week. It's something I really want to do. I hope that you guys like it and will listen to it. I know the numbers are usually lower on that and the engagement's lower, but I want to bring you what's going on and what's happening, and that's what's happening right now. Got out of the private workout, thought it was interesting. It was really quick. Jalen Walker looks very explosive, but I don't think Mykel Williams necessarily hurt himself today. Thank you for watching.